joining us now on the fan guest line, presented by Gruber Law, one call, that's all, our good friend from CBS58 here in Milwaukee, Mr. Scott Grodsky. Scott, thanks for jumping on, my friend.
Happy to do it. I'm a little distracted right now, though. I'm trying to figure out the mental math you did in your head and make sure you're right.
349 plus 17 is 366. So I think I was off
so
by one. 348.
Yeah, right,
I got a leap
year
year there. Yep. Tommy was right when he called me out for the leap year there. Yeah, I was close enough. I was told there'd be no math.
We got the idea.
Right, exactly. And like the life of a kicker. I mean, come on. AKA the life of a golfer. Basically,
just one or two games where you didn't have to do anything except kick like an extra point or two.
Right. Like there were those games too. So he had like 17 Mondays, and then he had 2 or 3 of those Mondays that ended up being like surprise day off Mondays. So yeah. We'll make sure to remind him of all this on Monday. Scott Grodsky, CBS58, joining us here. We are at the Wisconsin State Fair. Scott, do you get to the fair at all? Do you have any favorite foods or favorite things to do here at the fair?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the generic ones, the cream puff and the fried turkey leg are the two I'll go to when I go. I haven't gone yet this year.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the cream puff's a great one if you like it. Although the more people
Honestly,
I talk to people, it's
I don't even love the cream puff, but I just feel like I have to do it anyway.
Yeah, I am a one bite of a cream puff every year. I literally take the top of a cream puff. I will use it as a scooper. I will scoop some cream, and I will take one bite. And then I'm done. Like, I don't need anything else. I did take the 3-pack home last night because Mrs. Thunder wanted a little bit, and we had a buddy coming over for dinner, and he had a little bit. We still have 2 in our fridge, so if you need one, or if anybody needs one, I don't know. I mean, they last pretty well when they're in the fridge, but we should probably get on those. The turkey leg I walk by every day. I literally walk by the turkey leg stand every day. I've not done that one either, but like that one is calling to me for sure. So I'm gonna see what I have to do about
be
that.
ready. It is huge.
Yes, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It definitely is. Well, we've got some great things to talk about right now, and big picture wise, when you get into TV sports, and you realize that you've got like 2 or 3 minutes a night in general to tell the local sports story of everything that's going on, and some years your teams are good, and some years your teams are bad. Like, do you ever think like, man, I hope I end up in a market, or I hope I work for a job where the sports teams are fun and interesting? Like, how do you manage, like, yes, you take the job in the next market that's bigger that you're going to take, versus like, I want to be in a market where I either like the sports teams or they have good sports teams. How does that all factor into career decisions for a TV sports anchor?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on where you are in life. When I was younger, it mattered more to me what I was covering and to make sure that it was, fun, good stuff covering. Now it's Milwaukee's home. I've been here. This is going to be my 10th Packers season. So nice. There's other things that matter, but I've been very lucky, and we all have been very lucky that throughout the 10 years I've been here, you can count the bad teams that Wisconsin sports have had, especially pro, on one hand. I mean, we've had a pretty incredible run, and unfortunately, I've also, covered, I think, 4 NFC championship losses, the NLCS loss, all the other exits for the Brewers, the conference finals collapse against the Raptors. Like, I've covered a lot of heartbreaking losses, but you have to be good to get there, and it's always fun on the ride to get to that point. And then, the 2021 Bucks championship healed a lot of my personal wounds of being there for brutal losses, because that was awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So and again, like a city, a market like Milwaukee having that type of success, I think we look around the country and we know the success Boston's had in the last 20 years, since 2001, really, with the Patriots, and some other markets that are much bigger and have had a real lack of success. Like, what does it say that Milwaukee, Wisconsin, market number whatever it is, has had the type of success? And I'll include the Packers in that, but with the Packers, the Brewers, the Bucks, I know the graphic came out a couple days ago about, since 2020, Milwaukee has the 5th best winning percentage of any city or whatever it is. How Milwaukee? Why Milwaukee?
I mean, I think it starts with really good front offices and really good structures behind pretty much all of these teams. Obviously, with the Bucks, there's the bonus of having Giannis, and that's in the NBA. You have a guy like him, you're only going to be so bad as long as he's healthy. But especially for the other teams, and this doesn't include the Bucks too, who found a guy like Giannis, found a guy like Chris Middleton, even Brook Lopez when it seemed like his career was over within a year or two. All these teams have these ingrained cultures, and they pretty much build up their guys throughout, kind of like Brian Gutekunst was with the Packers for a long time before he got that job, over two other guys who are also with the Packers for 15, 20 years. So I think there's a lot of building from the ground up and having these same kind of values and qualities that they're looking for in their athletes. It doesn't help or it doesn't hurt that all the teams have pretty darn good fan support, which can help with the finances in the sports where there's allowed to be some wiggle room. I think that's a big part of what happens. And it's not just the pro teams. I mean, current Badgers football is not where you want it to be, but otherwise, for 30 years, Badgers football has been incredibly consistent. Badger basketball has been incredibly consistent. Marquette basketball has been pretty darn consistent, too.
Scott Grodsky, CBS58, joining us on Thunder at the Fair on the Fan. Let's start with our Green Bay Packers. And you mentioned, this is going to be your 10th year covering the team, and so you've seen a number of NFC Championship game losses and some other playoff losses as well. How much pressure is there on this team to make the playoffs and to at least win a playoff game, if not go even deeper into the playoffs?
I think there's a lot of pressure on the team to make the playoffs. I think right now there's not much pressure on them to win a playoff game. I think it'll depend. The pressure to win a playoff game is going to be either building or lowering, I don't know, depending on how they do in the season. They make it another 9-8, 10-7 season. There's not going to be a ton of pressure. If they go 14-3 and lose in the first round, people are going to be apoplectic. So I think right now this is a team that should make the playoffs, but they're not in the same breath as the Lions and the Eagles right now. There's not those level of expectations. I think that if they do make the playoffs this year and lose in the first round again, then they start to have the pressure. The same way that the Cowboys with the Dak Prescott era, they didn't really have a ton of pressure at first, and then when they kept losing in the playoffs right away, then it started to add up. I think once you get past year 3 of Jordan Love, if they're still a first-round exit, then you start hearing about it.
And so, I agree, but I think there might be a little bit more pressure on them this year. And I think it depends on what the NFC North looks like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With so many changes, the Bears are supposed to be better and split and should have swept the Packers last year. With the Lions losing both their coordinators, with the Vikings, now they've losing Jordan Addison for 3 weeks, but also having a first-year quarterback. I think that I just in my positive side of my brain, I'm like, man, the Packers should really make a move this year. Like they should be there. Versus like, all right, but are they really that good? Are they really good enough to be that team? And I'm a little torn on like what the ceiling should be, the expectation wise for this team.
Well, I think a good thing for them is the same thing that's true for the Bucks. They're in the right conference. The stacked teams in the NFL are in the AFC. So the Eagles, obviously, as the defending champs, are the team to beat, and they look like a juggernaut. But, the NFC East changes first-place winners every year. So we'll see what happens there. The Lions, I'm not as big into the, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn are gone, so they're going to be terrible. I don't think the coordinators are as big a deal as people are making it. I still think they are going to be a very good team. But other than that, I mean, you got the 49ers who are coming off a down year. Assuming McCaffrey can stay healthy, they should be better. But I don't know if there's anyone who really scares you if you're a Packers fan. And even the Lions, who I do think are better than the Packers as a team on paper right now, it's not like I think they're, the 1980 Olympics. It's take a miracle to beat them. Like the Packers could beat the Lions like 45 times out of 100.
Scott Grodsky, CBS58, joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline, presented by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Scott, where do you come on the discussion of the bubble wrap discussion? Do you play your quarterback? Do you play your starters during preseason? Do you play them a series? Do you play them a quarter? Do you not play them at all? And especially starting with Jordan Love, what are your thoughts about this Saturday night against the Jets at Lambeau?
Yeah, I mean, I know the NFL seems to be trending more and more towards week 1 players playing in the preseason. I would probably do more week 2 and then sit for week 3. I'd want to play maybe a quarter, unless it's like last year and they have a 70-yard touchdown in the third play.
Sure.
I think a few years ago when they just got crushed by the Saints, we sort of saw what can happen if you play no one in the preseason.
Right.
So I'd like to see all of them out there a little bit, but I certainly don't think someone like Jordan Love needs to be out there for a whole half. And I would say probably whether it's week 1 or week 2, I'd probably play him one game and then call it.
What about, we've all talked all preseason about the wide receivers and Matthew Golden specifically. Do you think he needs some reps? Because he's, one of the things people talked about, whether it's Jordan Love or playing in preseason, is chemistry and Jordan Love, he's got chemistry with literally everyone on the offense. He's the only person he hasn't really played with is Matthew Golden. I mean, he's played with the wide receivers, the tight end, the running backs. What experience does Matthew Golden need at the NFL level in preseason to get ready for the regular season?
Yeah, well, I'd like to see him be out there for every rep that Jordan Love takes and the starters take, even if he's not going to be an every down player, which he should be. But even if he's not, I'd still put him out there for the preseason. And then I'd probably give him another quarter or so with Malik Willis. And obviously that's not a matter of chemistry. That's just a matter of getting up to speed and on a real NFL field with real NFL defenses. And I'd like to see him get a little more than if he's, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson towards the end of their careers where they didn't really play.
Scott Grodsky,
CBS. The important thing is he should be there for all the Love reps. Sorry, the important thing is all Love reps, he should be out there.
I agree. Any other storylines you're keeping your eye on, especially with regards to Saturday night, Lambeau, Jets, Packers, 7 p.m.?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see how the offensive line holds up. It sounds like the Jets are going to be playing their starters, especially early. I think that's going to be important to see, and then you have to be looking at the cornerbacks. And I don't know that the Jets are the greatest test for cornerbacks. Garrett Wilson is obviously very good. Justin Fields and the rest of their quarterbacks are not. So I don't know how much of a test you can get there, but I'll keep an eye on that too.
Nice. Yeah, I think, I vacillate between I'm interested in every question that we all have, but I'm also like, man, preseason football is just hard to watch sometimes.
I don't, unless I'm covering the game, I don't usually make it past the first half. It's hard to do.
Yeah. And I know that our good friend Andy Herman at Pack-A-Day Radio, he's going to be tweeting the whole game, and so I'll be able to follow it through him. And I want to know what's going on with some of these guys, and I know that with the bigger practice squads now, more guys are relevant than used to be. Mm-hmm. But it's just it can be a tough watch at times in that second half, can't it? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with Andy Herman and the rest of the great guys on the Packers beat telling me how Omar Brown did in the second half. I don't need to see it firsthand. 3 interceptions this Saturday night in the game alone for Omar Brown in the second half. He's taking over. All right. If he does it again today or Saturday, then yeah, you know what? Put him in. That would be something. All right, let's go from the Packers to our Milwaukee Brewers because I think you tweeted something like Andrew Vaughn is the greatest brewer of all time. I started it on the first and today you might be right. He is. I mean, I can't even fathom. How is this even possible? Yeah, I started that on his first game when he had the first key hit, and then I've re-upped it 8 times in the last 2 weeks. He's prime Barry Bonds. It's incredible what he's been, and Isaac Collins should not get lost in the shuffle either. The two of them have been just otherworldly, and can they do this in October? I don't know, but man, it's fun to watch while they are doing it. It really is, and I think that's the hardest thing as a Brewers fan and as someone who's watching every game. How do we balance how good they are on August 7th and how unbelievable this team is playing and how they're playing the right way, and they make you. I love the quote that Aaron Nagler said on our air yesterday. They make you play baseball against them. Like,
Yeah.
and how do you balance all that with, like, it's still only August 7th. There's still 48 games left. Weird things can happen. Weird things will happen. Something will go wrong. Something will go right. And how do we, like, prepare ourselves for that just because they have the best record in baseball over the past week and probably will for a few more days, if not even longer, like, you don't win a trophy for having the best record in baseball at the beginning of August.
No, I think you just enjoy the ride while you have it and see where it takes you. There's really only so much you can do. And like you said, something bad is going to happen. It already has for a bunch of the Brewers. They've dealt with a ton of injuries. They've had a bunch of issues. And they've found ways to recover from all of them or thrive with all of them. I mean, Rhys Hoskins went down, and that seemed like a pretty big deal given what the roster construction was. If he doesn't go down, we don't know that Andrew Vaughn's the greatest hitter in MLB history. So
that's true. That's a good point.
Things have happened, and they've found a way to work out. And as for will this be sustainable in October, I don't know. We're going to find out in October. I mean, I've covered 10 years of Brewers baseball. They've had some really good teams, and when it comes to October, sometimes those teams have come up short. It's their short series a lot of the time. I think it's good for the Brewers if they can get out of the wild card and get out of the best of three series.
Yes, please.
But once they do, if they do, you don't know what's going to happen. All it takes is a couple players in the other team getting hot. And as much as right now Andrew Vaughn and Isaac Collins look like the MVP and the Rookie of the Year in the National League, I don't know what they're going to do in October, and I don't think there's going to be anyone who's going to be going into, Game 7 of an NLCS saying Shohei Ohtani and Andrew Vaughn strike the same amount of fear in you, no matter how good he plays down the stretch. So
I tend to agree.
No.
Scott Grodsky.
We'll see how Jackson Chourio comes back too.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right about Jackson Chourio. Any news on him? Like, what do we know? Is there a timetable yet for him?
I don't think there's really a firm timetable. I think it was 2 to 4 weeks was the last thing I heard. So,
Sure.
I mean, he should be fine in time for when it really matters. It's nice that the Brewers now have a cushion to where it's not the end of the world. And Jacob Mizorowski seems way less serious than that. He seems fine.
Yes, not serious at all. Just getting him his load management, which I think is the absolute right decision by this organization. Scott Grodsky, CBS58 Sports, joining us here on Thunder at the Fair, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan. He's on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. The question we were asking everybody yesterday, I wonder what your thoughts on this. I don't know if I'm officially worried. I don't know if worried's the right word, but I am officially, like, keeping my eye on Freddie Peralta. He's always been a guy who has not been able to go deep into games. He's been a bit of a nibbler. He's had that issue in the past. And it seemed like the first half of this year before the All-Star break, he had broken through a little of that. I mean, he still wasn't going deeper than 6 innings in most games. But the 5 starts since the All-Star break, 5, 4, and 5 innings, 3, 2, and 4 walks. I'm just like, I'm worried that they need the best Freddie Peralta if they're really going to make some noise in the playoffs. And so I'm a little concerned that we're not seeing the best Freddie Peralta right now. Again, knowing that you don't need to see the best Freddie Peralta on August 7th. You need the best Freddie Peralta on October 7th.
Yeah, I think keeping an eye on it is the right way to phrase it. I wouldn't say worried unless this was September 27th.
Right.
I think it's definitely something to monitor, but I also think in the playoffs, he's not going to have to do a 7-inning start. And this team has just an incredibly deep bullpen, and it gets deeper once you get to the playoffs and you throw Quintana in there or whatever they end up doing out of the starters, because Quintana's been great all year too and consistent.
Yep.
So if Freddie only pitches 4 innings in Game 1 and Game 4 of the series, fine. As long as he pitches those 4 innings well, you're good. You can take care of the other 5. They have a very good bullpen. They're going to have Mizorowski back too, Priester, and Woodruff, obviously. So they're in a good position to where if their starters don't go 7 innings, they're fine.
I think that's fair. Although I know I saw the stat last night that that with Quintana going 6 last night, I think the Brewers are now 31-6 when their starters go 6 or more innings. So part of me wants to. I don't know that you want to stretch them to that. But if they're at 5 1/3, 5 2/3, and they can finish off that inning, you definitely don't want to overwork your bullpen in August because you're playing every day, if not more than that. As we know, there's 5 games in 4 days against the Cubs. You do get a little more rest in the playoffs. So that is a good point about the bullpen.
Well, and I do think there's a couple of things with that that skew it a little bit. First of all, if they're going 6, it generally means they're going to have Koenig, Uribe, and McGill coming in to finish it, which is about as good as you're going to get.
Like they did last night, yep.
Yeah, but also the stats a little skewed anyway, because if you're going through 6 innings, that means you didn't get pounded early on. So you're going to have a better win-loss record anyway. It's not like you gave up 7 in the 3rd inning and then went 6.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. That's a good point as well. Scott, what do you? I know the Brewers obviously top of the list. Packers playing Saturday night, top of the list. What else you got going on? What else you cooking up at CBS 58 right now?
Yeah, Brewers Packers are top of mind. We had something with Danny Jansen on yesterday as he joins the team as a Wisconsin native, and then just talked to Nate Snead, who's down in Arizona with the Angels at their camp, 3rd-round pick. First day draft pick. Was he South Milwaukee or Bayview? Where was he? He's South Milwaukee.
South Milwaukee, okay. And he played at Tennessee, right?
Guy. Yep. Yeah, he did Wichita State for a year and then Tennessee for 2, including the national championship 2 years ago, which he pitched throughout the World Series there. So got a 101 fastball. You're not going to see him in the minors or anything very likely this year.
Right.
Or just getting accustomed to the MLB and pro baseball, not just MLB, professional baseball lifestyle. But you're going to see him in the majors at some point. He's got the arm for it.
And that's one of those fun things, I think, that, again, as we started the conversation about, you ending up in Milwaukee and, southeastern Wisconsin's always very proud of its own. A guy like Nate Snead, when he gets to the majors or high minors, it'll be fun to watch him from, as being like one of our guys, even though he's not doing it for one of our organizations, but he's from here, the good Midwestern values, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as you're talking about how consistent and how good, like going back to the start of our conversation, Wisconsin area sports have been professionally, it's also gotten on the prep level to a whole different level, especially with baseball. Wisconsin never used to be some hotbed for baseball, and it's still not California or Florida or Texas. But, I mean, you're starting to see, whether it is a Danny Jansen or Nate Snead, Mitch Voigt, who was also drafted in the 2nd round this year, you're starting to see more and more of these guys get their shots in the majors.
Love it. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time today. Enjoy your day, and we'll be sure to be watching CBS 58 for all the latest on all our local sports, and hopefully we'll keep the winning going.
Sounds good.
All right, that is Scott Grodsky joining us here on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. If you don't know, the Milk House is sponsored by Gruber Law, and David Gruber is here right now. So if you're trying to get your picture taken with a Milwaukee celebrity, David Gruber is in the house right now at the Milk House.
What do we got to do to get David Gruber in the cream puff eating contest? Like, is he not a celebrity? Like, what are we doing?
I don't think he'd be interested in it. I might talk to his son Steven, though, who's the next Gruber in the line of Grubers. And Steven actually played D1 hoops. Actually, David did too. They both are very strong basketball players. David now, I don't think he plays basketball anymore. He plays a lot of tennis. I don't know how much basketball Steven still plays, but I'll bet he still plays a little bit. Good basketball family there. I might, you know what? I'll go ask him. I'll go see if David wants in next year. But, everybody next year is just playing for second place because Tommy Strongman Wirtz is the one who's gonna win the title next year. You're taking down Radar next year, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, he won't be in it, right? He's gonna be in the Champions round from that.
That's a good point.
So Radar's got another year before he can be worried about it.
That's fair. That's nicely done. Our thanks again to Scott Grodsky jumping on. When we come back, lots more still to talk about, lots of news and notes around Major League Baseball, around the NFL. A Vikings shirt. Haven't seen a lot of Vikings gear, I got to be honest. All right, that's all right. That's okay. I like purple too, but I don't wear – I got purple shoes on. but I'm not wearing Viking stuff. It's all good. It's all good. Yep, no, we can see. Absolutely. So all that and more. My name's Mitch Jones, a.k.a. Thunder, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan. Free on the Odyssey app, free on the iHeart app, free on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. This is Thunder at the Fair on The Fan.